I am so annoyed. He's played bumper boats down the side of our boat.
Yeah, we're like...
I do a right-handed bolt with a left-handed screwdriver. It's
What's
a tool.
the long way?
It's it's for the job we need.
Is he making this up? Oh, shut up!
Then the shaft. This is like some kind of weird sex ed thing.
Almost 2 years ago, we left it all behind for a chance at the sailing adventure of a lifetime.
It has not been smooth sailing since then, but together we are learning and laughing our way through.
Our hope is that if we laugh long enough, we can make our merry way around the world.
And this
is a Millennial Falcon.
Oh, it's gonna be a lonely while without them. So what now?
I know, what do we do now?
Go back to bed and start the day again?
I'm happy for them, but I'm sad. You know, no one likes to be the one who's left behind. They're sort of, even though they're only going out, like, I don't envy the journey they have in front of them by any means. They're gonna probably have a swab stuck up their nose a few times on the next couple of days. But at least they're moving again, you know. So
Yep, I know.
something will change. If the rest of the legs of their journey go like that did, then it won't be too bad. They'll just have...
How excited are you, babe? Woo! Your legs are still hanging over though. It's just like being on the boat still.
Oh, look at that empty bedroom.
Yeah, it's sort of feels really large now, I suppose, the boat.
And we have a shower.
We've been using the back bathroom for 2 months, and I just brushed my teeth. I was like, oh, I guess I can go to the main bathroom again and use all the plumbing in there.
I was gonna sit in it like an hour.
And we usually don't use the water pump very often because to save water we just use the foot pump here in the sink. Kind of got in the habit of using the water pump now, and so it was very strange to use the sink in the front.
Yeah.
And actually use it like a house tap.
So happy.
What is it?
I am so annoyed. So the bloody Coast Guard's just come and like tried to rouse us out of the boat, and to do that, he's played bumper boats down the side of our boat and left a massive black line. And then I call him out and he's like, oh, that's what I had to do to get you out. You never heard of knocking? Just knocking on the hull? I had headphones on, for God's sake. Well, they wanted to supersede the letter that they sent out saying that like in there is where you're not allowed to go. Oh, I can't talk, I'm too annoyed. What can like...
Alright, so it's about 3:30 in the afternoon and we've been kind of bunkered downstairs today. As you would have heard, I'm pretty much just going to clarify what Adam said earlier, where he was ranting and raving after our nice little visit from the Coast Guards. So, Coast Guards came to our boat and then quite rudely told us that we had to move. Now they'd been to our boat a week ago and gave us a piece of paper that had coordinates on there of where the quarantine zone for new boats coming into Grenada was going to be. We've checked on the map, we spoke to other boaties in the same anchorage as us, and we were like, yeah, we're 500 feet away from that. There is no chance they're ever going to tell us to move. We'll be absolutely fine. So we stayed there. That was like a week ago now, and they've just come to our boat after 20 more quarantine boats have come in the meantime, and they've just said, oh, you can't be here, this whole anchorage. Suddenly just changed the wording. No boats, unless you're in quarantine, are allowed to be in this anchorage. So it's now 3:30, quarantine, our curfew is at 5, I think it is. 7 o'clock actually, sorry. Our quarantine's at 7 and now we need to find a new place to go.
With only a few hours left until curfew, we decided to make a small hop north to a fishing village called Grand Mal. What, are we doing the same?
Yeah, we're like...
Decided to try and look on the bright side of all of this. It's been a motivation for us to get up and get moving from our self-imposed squalor, and to stay in an anchorage that we have never stayed in before. And I always wanted a racing stripe, so now I've got a nice big black stripe down the port bow of my boat. Thank you, Grenadian Coast Guard, for the additional speed. Much appreciated.
A nice little layer of filth from the previous anchorage. Alright, so this is our new home. I don't believe that the Coast Guards can get us here. Although they seem to be able to find us everywhere. So we're hoping that we can hide amongst all the fishermen boats around here and hopefully the Coast Guards won't see us. We are in Grand Mal Bay, and it's quite deep water. We're in about 30-40 feet of water right now. We are very close to some underwater statues, which we've both been meaning to do for ages, haven't we?
We have.
So they're actually just over there on the edge of the rocks, and so we are so close to it right now we can just dinghy over. So that is the best excuse that we have had for a very long time to go and visit them. The fact we got shooed away and we had to come here.
Before we went gallivanting off, we thought we'd tick off a major boat job that we'd been putting off for a few months: installing our Sigma Drive.
But first, we had to make sure our engine alignment was as good as we could get it. Bloody almost bang on. Way closer, as close as I've ever seen it. We discovered that this stupid fridge bracket was in what made life very difficult for the port front, port bow engine mount, and subsequently we were like, oh, we'll just let's take it off. Let's see what we can do. And of course, then we got committed and we got invested, and it's basically hijacked the entire rest of the day.
Alright, end of day. It's the kind of day that required a drink at the end of it. We are both absolutely exhausted and we decided that instead of losing our temper, we are going to resume this whole situation tomorrow. We're pretty much almost there. We just need to put the bolts back on and then put our new Sigma Drive on. But for now we're just going to enjoy the sunset and have a drink. We've already been in for a swim, we've got the grease off us, and we're feeling a bit more refreshed.
All in all, a successful day, I think.
I think so.
We got proof of concept on something that we've been debating over for a year. Because the guy, like I said this morning, the guy who did the engine alignment in St Martin, he said that's the best you can hope for, and we said no way.
No.
There's room. There's
Don't
totally
believe the
room
professionals.
to move. And obviously we were in St Martin in the middle of hurricane season, so we had to move on. But we had always resolved to give it another go, and you know, this lockdown has given us due cause to try again, and we did. Today we did what we said we were going to do, and it's the straightest it's ever been, I think. Yeah. So that's a plus.
So what are our 2 lessons?
I don't know. What are our 2?
2 lessons.
I'm excited. Are you excited? What are our 2 lessons?
Don't believe the professionals, because we are so much better than professionals, obviously. Doing it yourself makes you a professional. And lesson number two, maybe do it right there and then rather than 10 months later.
Don't do a right-handed bolt with a left-handed screwdriver.
Yeah?
Yeah?
We'll go with that one as well. We'll add a third.
I need to send Khiara. Khiara actually has to go on a trip to the hardware store tomorrow to go and find a long wait.
What?
A long wait. It's
What's
a tool.
a long wait?
It's we need a. It's for the job we need.
Is he making this up?
Tomorrow you got to go to Island Water World, wear your mask, put your gloves on, and ask them if they have in stock a long wait.
Oh, shut up! Turn the camera off.
After getting our engine alignment pretty bang on, we then moved on to the next job, installing the Sigma Drive.
So this is a Sigma Drive made by Bruntons, the same people who made our feathering prop, the H5 auto prop, and it's essentially, well, it is a CV joint that can handle the loads of the thrust without the need for thrust bearings. It's pretty elegant, pretty simple, and it just basically replaces a drive saver, or essentially replaces the shaft side of your coupling, which is why you will have just seen us pull the shaft side of our coupling off. And essentially what you do is this comes off, so you put in the studs to match the bolt pattern of your transmission side coupling, screw that on, and then this side, which is tapered, goes on the shaft. So you've got that bolted onto the transmission now, that is on the shaft, then the shaft, this is like some kind of weird sex ed thing.
I didn't want to say that, I was thinking that too.
And then the two pieces go together, and that's how babies are made. The two pieces go together, and then you have a set of Allen key studs that go into here. And when you ratchet them down, the taper section presses in and closes this gap, which then bites down on the shaft, which then creates your coupling. The purpose of the whole thing is this angular motion that you can see. So it'll allow your shaft to rotate with up to a 3-degree error in alignment. So this is yeah, we've got a lot of hopes pinned on this thing. I'm anxious to get it on there, and I'm nervous about the results, but I'm really looking forward to it working. The propeller is working really well, so these two parts combined should give us really smooth and efficient motoring, and even smoother still sailing, because we've got basically have a null and void propeller when we're sailing. So yeah, it's going to be good.
We're in the final stages of the very delicate Sigma Drive operation. I'll show you how the surgery is going. It's like the golden light shining out from my engine bay. Just like a sunshine on a rainy day. It's gonna save us.
Alright. Good. Off. Get it off. Get it off.
Good. Realign engine. Goodbye. What else we got? That's all.
It's enough for today. I think we did good for today.
I also get to cross off my lists.
Do you want to tell them about our lists?
Well, we don't like to share. Alignment. The next few days were pretty rainy, but with renewed enthusiasm from our successful Sigma Drive installation, we carried on with a few more jobs. Got that rodent in my engine again.
Derusting the engine. We've been removing, changing around water pumps we had a shelf up here, which whenever it leaked, because the water pump was sitting right here, it would fall onto the engine. Any hoses and places that water can possibly go onto our engine, we've been moving them to other parts of the boat. And we've been doing quite a good job of it, actually. whilst we were very grateful for the additional water, the rain kept coming. So we kept working.
We've just discovered that we put some rope into the clutch locks, and lo and behold, it wasn't holding the rope. It was not clutching the ropes like a clutch lock should. We've installed them backwards, so we now need to just take them up and really quickly rebed them before the 4200 dries.
What are we taking down?
Okay, so we're going to take down clutch blocks. Ooh.
You just ripped the whole board apart.
Okay.
Put another sticker back up there. Repair cork board.
It's alright, never happened. Alright, so we've also ticked off clutch blocks. We've ticked off. You had mine up here. Turning blocks, that's also what we did.
Yep.
We crossed off turning blocks as well. So getting there, slowly getting there. Yes! Phase 1, almost done. So when we were in Australia, we realised that if we just have all these things to do with no criteria of how important they are, we would just keep throwing money at every single thing that kind of came our way, and then we did do that a few times and we ended up regretting it a little bit. For instance, when we bought a freezer and it didn't work, and we realised that we kind of didn't need to spend that money right now. So we put together a phase 1, phase 2.
It now does work, and is presently the only reason we have cold food.
That's true. It's actually come in so handy right now. So we ended up having a phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 list of importance. To cap us with our spending, and also our boat work, because once we get our claws into something, we just carry on. So phase 1 on our list was to replace all of our rigging. It was also to refurbish and clean up our chain plates, bed them down properly, get a new staysail, put in our mast box and our clutch box, get our engine valves and the ejectors for the engine all redone, maybe new ones, I'm not sure.
Cleaned and spaced. It was to de-rust our engine, because that was a really bad problem.
So we also had refurbishing the manual bilge pump, because that's really important, we think, on our boat, because if the electric one fails, it's really good to have a manual one that you can pump out. And then get a new topping lift, because that was chafing a little bit at the top. So we've redone that one, and I think we still want 2 bilge pumps put into our bilge. That could possibly go to a phase 2 list, I'm not sure at this stage. But we've ticked off a bunch of other things as well. Phase 2 is things that maybe aren't so important right about now. Things just like, I think a new fridge was on there at one stage, and a hydrovane on the back of the boat. We could still sail without them. They weren't as important, but they would be really good to have in the future. So that was that's our phase 2, and after we get through phase 1, we can then start working on that one.
We were young and we were free and running, never bothered about what could be coming. Every day we danced and life was smiling.